Imagine sitting on your couch, right? You're completely absorbed in a movie.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
Right. And the climax hits, the orchestral score swells, and you are literally brought to tears by this, perfectly emotionally devastating ending.
The kind that just wrecks you.
Exactly. So you immediately text your friend to talk about it, only to realize,
Uh-oh.
yeah, you realize that ending was generated in real time, specifically for you, and literally no one else on Earth will ever see it.
That's a wild thought.
It really is. So welcome to the deep dive. You, our listener, are tuning into a breakdown of an AI Muse Digest dated August 15th, 2026.
That's right.
And our mission today isn't just to, give you a tech update. We are mapping a fundamental paradigm shift.
That's the exact right framing, I think, because we are way past the era of treating artificial intelligence as just some novelty or a predictive text engine on your phone.
Yeah, a buzzword.
Right. What this 2026 digest reveals is that AI has fully integrated into the invisible structural foundation of how society operates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are looking at a transition from a mass-produced reality to a completely hyper-personalized one.
And we really want to talk directly to you, the listener, today, because you are standing right at the center of this shift.
Absolutely.
Whether you are, navigating a degree or managing a corporate team or just trying to find something good to stream tonight, the underlying mechanics of your daily life are being rewritten.
Quietly, too.
Yeah, completely quietly. So let's start with where a lot of our foundational programming begins, which is the classroom.
A huge area of disruption.
Oh, massive. The digest details this new wave of AI-powered educational tools that are actively personalizing the learning experience. But we aren't talking about a digital flashcard app here.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's unpack this. This is a system that actually analyzes a student's individual strengths and weaknesses, tailoring the pacing and the style of the lesson dynamically. It's like every student getting a bespoke suit, but for their brain.
That's a great way to put it. And what's fascinating here is the actual mechanism behind it, because the AI isn't just, grading multiple choice questions at the end of the day.
Right.
It is building a dynamic, multidimensional cognitive map of the student in real time. It actually tracks micro-hesitations.
Wait, micro-hesitations?
Yeah. It knows if a student takes, say, 3 seconds longer to process a visual fraction versus a word problem.
Oh, wow. So it's watching how they think, not just what they answer.
Exactly. And because it operates on these continuous feedback loops, it adjusts the delivery method instantly. So if the data shows you are losing focus during a text-heavy historical explanation,
They definitely would.
right, same. The system seamlessly pivots to like an interactive spatial map of that exact same historical event.
Okay, but wait, I have to legitimately challenge the outcome of this. Because if the AI is doing the diagnosing, and if it's adjusting the pacing, mapping the cognitive model, and delivering the content,
I know where you're going with this.
yeah, I mean, isn't the human teacher just becoming a glorified babysitter for the algorithm? Like, does this spell the end of the traditional lecture format? Where is their actual autonomy in this classroom?
It's a completely valid question. It really is.
Yeah.
It gets to the very heart of what this technology actually disrupts. Because the digest notes that these tools are freeing teachers from massive amounts of paperwork.
Which nobody likes doing anyway.
Right, so they can focus on guiding students. You have to remember, the traditional model of education, one person standing at the front of a room, broadcasting standardized information to 30 different brains.
The one-size-fits-all thing.
Exactly. That was an industrial era compromise. I mean, it was basically crowd control masquerading as pedagogy.
Oh, that's harsh but true.
It's true. By removing the friction of mass standardization and offloading all that administrative trivia, the teacher's role doesn't disappear. It evolves.
So they stop being an information dispenser.
Precisely. They transition from an information dispenser to a nuanced mentor.
Okay, I see.
The machine handles the computational logistics of learning, like the pacing, the data tracking. But machines completely lack emotional intelligence.
Sure.
The human educator is now freed up to manage the psychological barriers to learning. They can spot the student who is retreating emotionally, look them in the eye, and provide the kind of empathetic intervention that an algorithm simply cannot compute.
Right, the human element.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The technology is actually creating a more inclusive environment, specifically by letting the machine do the computing and letting the human do the connecting.
Okay, that makes sense. It's removing the friction of the, average to cater to the individual. But here is where we need to connect the dots. Because the exact same predictive neural networks that are mapping a child's learning pathways in the classroom are being repurposed to map your dopamine pathways at home.
Oh, completely. It's the same underlying tech.
The digest moves right from education to the entertainment industry, and here's where it gets really interesting.
And this is where we see the massive leap from personalized curation to personalized creation.
Right. Because we're past collaborative filtering. We all know how streaming algorithms work now. They cluster your data and say, people who watched X also liked Y.
Sure, the basic recommendation engine.
But the digest states that AI is now creating music and writing scripts. Let me emphasize the verb there, writing. It is actually generating the art. Is AI becoming like a universal ghostwriter for human entertainment?
It really looks that way. We need to unpack the how here because it demystifies what basically feels like magic.
Yeah, break it down for me.
When you engage with a streaming platform, the system isn't just logging the title of the movie you clicked on.
Like, oh, they watched a comedy.
Right, it's way deeper than that. It's recording granular millisecond-level behavioral data. It maps exactly when you pause. It logs when you rewind to rewatch a specific dialogue exchange.
Oh, wow.
It tracks the exact timestamp where your attention wandered and you picked up your phone, which it knows because, you minimized the app or you fast-forwarded a boring part.
So it isn't just learning what genre I like, it's mapping the exact parameters of my narrative attention span.
Exactly. It converts your emotional engagement into a mathematical vector space.
That sounds intense.
It is. Now, feed that highly specific data into a generative AI model that is designed to synthesize scripts and compose music. The digest notes the resulting experiences are highly personalized and incredibly immersive.
Right.
In practice, this means the AI can dynamically generate a narrative arc that perfectly aligns with your retention triggers.
So it knows what keeps me hooked.
Yes, it knows you respond to a faster pacing structure, maybe you prefer jazz-infused scores, and you have a high completion rate for stories with ambiguous endings.
Okay, you're just describing my exact taste right now.
See? And it simply mathematically maps those parameters into a brand new piece of media, just for you.
I mean, I understand the mechanism, and I definitely see why a perfectly tailored movie sounds amazing, but I have to point out the massive societal consequence of this.
This raises an important question, yes.
Because entertainment has almost always functioned as a shared cultural reality.
Right.
Think about the massive television finales or those blockbuster movies that everyone watches at the exact same time.
Oh, yeah. The whole world talking about the same thing.
Exactly. We debate the same characters, we share the same memes, we argue about the same plot holes. If generative AI is constantly ghostwriting a bespoke script just for me and a completely different one just for you, don't we lose the water cooler moment?
You are identifying the core philosophical trade-off of this entire hyper-personalized era.
Because we are trading a collective cultural experience for an intensely private, catered simulation. We literally lose our shared reality.
That is the direct consequence of blurring the lines between human creativity and machine learning.
Yeah.
Because when you optimize entirely for individual immersion, you inevitably fragment the communal experience. The algorithm's prime directive is your personal engagement.
Just keeping my eyeballs on the screen.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not your social cohesion. It's a profound shift in how humans consume narrative and relate to one another through art.
It really is. And, it makes you wonder what happens when you take that exact same logic, the hyper-optimization of the individual, and apply it to the macro scale of the global economy.
All the ripple effects are huge.
Because the digest doesn't stop at our leisure time. It dives straight into the corporate sector. And we all know adults spend most of their time at work.
And the through line remains identical across all these sectors. It's the aggressive elimination of friction.
Right.
The digest outlines how businesses are utilizing AI for complex data analysis, sophisticated recruitment modeling, and 247 customer service.
Yeah, it specifically calls out chatbots that, resolve queries around the clock to improve customer satisfaction. But let's look past the obvious cost-cutting angle here.
Sure.
The part that I think fundamentally changes the daily reality for you, the listener, is the automation of routine tasks, like the soul-crushing busy work.
Nobody likes the busy work.
The endless spreadsheets, the calendar negotiations, the repetitive data entry. It's like having a tireless, invisible intern handling all the busy work, allowing the humans to actually step back and steer the ship.
That's a perfect analogy. And by automating those processes, the digest states businesses can operate more efficiently and allow humans to focus on strategic decision-making and innovation.
Right.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture to really grasp the impact, We have to look at this through the lens of human cognitive load.
Oh, that is the key concept, the mental bandwidth we all have.
Right, because human working memory is a finite resource.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you switch contexts to format a slide deck or hunt down an invoice or triage a generic customer email, you're burning cognitive fuel.
Yeah, you get to the end of the day and you're just fried.
Exactly. By the time you actually sit down to solve a complex, abstract problem, your cognitive reservoir is just depleted. What this AI digest is documenting is the systemic, large-scale offloading of that operational drag.
Okay, but let me throw a wrench into this fully optimized corporate utopia.
Go for it.
If you free up all that cognitive load, great. But if every single Fortune 500 company is using the exact same underlying LLMs and AI models to automate their logistics, analyze their data, and draft their
I
communications,
see where this is going.
doesn't corporate strategy just become completely homogenized? Like if Company A and Company B are asking the exact same oracle how to optimize their supply chain, they're going to get the exact same perfectly logical answer. They neutralize each other.
That is a brilliant observation, honestly. And it highlights exactly why the human element becomes more valuable in this landscape, not less.
Oh, really?
Yes, because when AI automates the baseline of operational efficiency, perfection just becomes a commodity.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Everyone has perfection now.
right. The competitive advantage no longer lies in executing a perfect logistical strategy, because everyone has access to that same AI. The advantage shifts entirely to what the human does with that liberated cognitive load.
Ah, so the edge goes to whoever can think non-linearly.
Exactly. The AI handles the linear optimization. It processes historical data to predict the most statistically probable outcome.
Which is safe.
It's safe. But AI, by definition, struggles with true paradigm-shifting intuition. Those irrational leaps of logic that create entirely new markets.
Like inventing the smartphone when people just wanted faster horses, that kind of thing.
Exactly. The businesses that thrive in the landscape described by this digest aren't the ones letting AI run the company. They're the ones using AI to clear the runway so human strategy can take off.
Which brings us to the ultimate application of that freed up human brain power.
This is my favorite part of the digest.
Because if you take that amplified human cognition, partner it with the massive scaling capability of AI, and point it at the world's most existential threats, you arrive exactly where the digest concludes, the scientific frontier.
This is where the technology stops being about convenience and really starts being about survival.
Yeah.
The digest explicitly mentions AI accelerating research and development in drug discovery, climate modeling, and early disease detection.
So what does this all mean? Like, let's talk about the why here. Why is AI suddenly the skeleton key for these specific fields?
Well, it comes down to scale.
Right, because we always hear the phrase finding a needle in a haystack, but that doesn't really capture what's happening with climate modeling or genomics. It's not just a big search problem.
No, it's way more complex than that.
The way I look at it, trying to model the global climate using human cognition alone is like trying to predict the exact path of a single drop of milk as you stir it into a cup of coffee.
Oh, I like that.
But, while someone is actively shaking the cup.
That is a far more accurate analogy.
Yeah.
Because you are dealing with fluid dynamics at a planetary scale.
Right. You have ocean temperatures, atmospheric pressure, carbon outputs, solar radiation, and they don't just exist side by side. They interact with each other non-linearly in real time.
Constantly shifting.
Yeah. Human scientists are brilliant, but our biological hardware simply cannot simultaneously map billions of interacting variables.
We hit a hard biological ceiling on multidimensional pattern recognition. It's just a limit of our brains.
Yeah.
But AI operates natively in that high-dimensional space. It doesn't just calculate faster. It can actually hold the entire complex system of interacting variables in its computational view at once.
We can track the fluid dynamics of the entire cup of coffee.
Exactly. And that is why the digest uses phrases like unprecedented ways and previously unimaginable breakthroughs. It's doing what we physically can't.
And the digest points out this is happening in personalized medicine, too, which actually brings the entire deep dive full circle.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Because the shift we saw in education moving away from the one-size-fits-all lecture is the exact same shift happening in medicine.
We're treating the individual biology, not the statistical average.
Historically, medical treatments were designed for the average human body.
Which doesn't really exist.
Exactly. Which resulted in varying degrees of efficacy and side effects for actual unique individuals. But AI's capacity to analyze vast data sets allows it to cross-reference a patient's highly specific genomic data against millions of medical outcomes instantly.
So is reading my specific DNA.
Yes, it can identify the precise genetic mutation causing an issue and model how a specific chemical compound will interact with that exact mutation.
Wow.
It turns personalized medicine from a sci-fi dream into an actionable diagnostic reality today.
The digest concludes by stating that technology and science are working hand in hand to tackle the world's most pressing challenges. And, when you lay it all out like we have today, you really see the architecture of this new reality.
We've really traced a single, powerful through line across every sector.
Let's recap the journey here for our listeners. We started in an adaptive classroom that dynamically maps a student's cognitive pathways to eliminate the friction of mass education.
Right.
Then we moved to the living room, where generative algorithms map our attention spans to write bespoke scripts, fundamentally altering how we experience culture.
The end of the shared reality.
Exactly. Then we stepped into the corporate sector, where the automation of routine tasks is liberating human cognitive load, forcing a shift from linear execution to non-linear strategy.
The visible intern.
Yeah. And finally, we looked at the lab, where AI's multidimensional pattern recognition is unlocking the complexities of climate modeling and personalizing medicine down to our very DNA.
The overarching narrative of this 2026 digest is just crystal clear. AI is the connective tissue moving human society from a state of broad generalization to a state of absolute hyper-personalization.
It is the ultimate customization of the human experience.
It really is.
But, as we wrap up, we always like to look at the blind spots. Based on everything we've pulled apart today, what is the lingering thought we need to walk away with?
Well, let's look closely at this promised future.
Okay.
Perfectly tailored education that never bores you, perfectly generated entertainment that always captivates you, perfectly optimized workflows that remove all administrative friction.
Sounds pretty great on paper.
It does. The entire trajectory of AI, as presented in the source material, is to predict, accommodate, and cater to our every preference and biological need. But I want you to consider the unseen cost of that total optimization.
The catch.
The catch. If an algorithm eventually maps your life so perfectly that it smooths out every single bump in the road before you even take a step, do we risk losing the magic of serendipity?
Oh, wow. That is a heavy question because serendipity requires the unexpected.
Exactly. If everything is flawlessly tailored to our existing tastes and capabilities, do we lose the value of stumbling upon a difficult concept that frustrates us, but ultimately expands our worldview?
Like reading a book you hate at first.
Yes. Do we lose the growth that comes from wrestling with a challenging piece of art we didn't initially understand? Or the beauty of a completely unexpected experience that we didn't know we needed simply because our historical data didn't predict it?
Wow. I mean, if friction is entirely removed from our daily lives, how do we build resilience?
That's the question.
A perfectly smooth road might not actually make you a better driver. It might just make you fall asleep at the wheel.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That is a brilliant, provocative thought to leave off on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, listener. As this 2026 digest makes perfectly clear, the future isn't just approaching. It is actively rewriting the foundation of your daily reality.
It's already here.
Keep your curiosity alive, keep your mind open to the non-linear possibilities, and maybe, just maybe, go out of your way to find a little unexpected friction today. We'll see you next time.